There we go. So over to you, George.
Okay, now, sorry for that, folks. Yeah, a bit of a delay there trying to set up cameras. So I'll try and go through maybe two or three flies if I can. And what I'll be covering is deer hair being applied to Irish Loch flies. So I was in Clifton a couple of weeks ago, um, and I was fishing a Connemara Black Muddler, which worked very, very well. So basically, this is kind of a traditional lock fly that is slightly twisted, a slight twist to it. So you can see the camera okay. Is that a bit too blurry?
Yeah. It's focusing on your shirt.
Just touch the hook. You might come right.
So let's see that now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm using a fulling mill competition heavy wet bronze size 10. Now you can use size 12, but I suppose for the demonstration we'll just go up a size so you can see a little bit clearer.
Yeah. If you keep touching the hook, it'll come back into focus.
All right. Let's see now.
It'll do it.
You had it then just a minute ago. Was it your light? Try adjusting.
Yeah, I'm just adjusting the light there. So
See if you can turn the light up slightly away from yourself.
now let's see.
Yeah, that'll do.
Now,
There you go.
how's that
Now
now?
touch the vice.
Now let's see that. There we go. Technology.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Let's get myself. Oh yeah, there you go. Any suggestions, Dan?
That's all right.
There we go. I think we got it.
I think you have it there, George. Not looking too bad there.
Perfect. I should say I'm using borrowing Dan O'Neill's web camera for when he does his demonstrations and talks. So I'm just going to use black thread, tie it on, and what I'm going to do is instead of pheasant crest, I'm going to use some fluorescent yellow floss, or even orange will do. Put a strip of it. Fold it a few times. And then tie on. Tie just before the bend of the hook. The excess there. What we'll do is we'll cut the tail. Tail length is all down to preference as well. Some people like to have it long, some people like to have it short. It's just down to preference, really. So back down to the bend. Get some silver tinsel. Size 16. Tie that in. Now we apply our dubbing marks. Red, orange, orange. I find you can nearly have too much dubbing.
No, you never got too much.
There we go, some Deer Creek genuine seals fur.
Getting harder to get hold of now, isn't it, George?
Very hard. I think Cooksil has a limited supply of it. I know Nick had this at the BFFI last year, and it got snatched up very, very fast. So I had to have dibs on it before anyone else got it, because I got, I think, 2 or 3 packets of claret and olive, which is very nice stuff to work with.
I mean, look, I got some years ago of a dead seal that was washed up back in Shrungalva. I filled a bag of it. I died since.
Touch and turns then, making your way up to the top eye. So help. Stop just there. We want to leave enough room that we can put in a mallard flank and as well as deer hair for the head. Touch, turns, 2, 3. Stencil there. So, mallards.
What's the name of the fly again, please, George?
This is a Connemara Black Muddler, but it's a twisted version of it. It's a slightly modern version of it.
I always get deer hair everywhere.
I love working with it. Now, my missus doesn't so much because it gets all over the carpet and into the living room and into the nursery and sometimes over the child. And yeah, she's a little bit fed up with me working with deer hair at the moment. So we'll just straighten that out. It's bronze mallard. What we'll do is we'll fold it in half. Okay. There's our wing slip. And then we'll just fold it in quarter again. And what I'll do is I'll just put the slip just slightly behind the tail. And pinch the loop. Tie that on. And cut off the excess. Yes. Now you can add a bit more if you want to. I think that looks relatively fine. So what we're then going to do is what you'd normally do is you'd add your your blue jay underneath, and a black hackle as well. But we're not going to do that because it'll create too much bulk around the head. So what we'll do is we'll just use blue deer hair around the front. So we'll take a nice.
What deer
pinch
hair
now.
is it, George?
This stuff is the packet. Just there it is. It is the Flyco. Not particularly a fan. Actually, this stuff isn't too bad. The vineyard stuff can be a little bit have a lot of under fur on it. The fulling mill stuff is a little bit stiff for my liking, but it's good for streamers. In my opinion, actually, the nicest stuff is the Irish Fly Supplies, because his is, I think he gets Sika hybrid, so Sika cross red deer. So the red deer hair would be a lot stiffer.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sika would be slightly soft, but if you get the Sika hybrid, it's just perfect. It's a nice balance. So the Irish Fly Supply is very good. This is some of his dyes as well. It's Highland green and yellow. He's got lovely Corrib olive as well. It's really nice stuff to work with now. And if you can as well, I'd recommend try if you are getting your own deer hair, try get summer deer hair, deer in the summer, because there won't be much fat on the deer, meaning then there won't be any under fluff in the hide. So you have to do less brushing out of the deer hair, if that makes sense. So we'll take a pinch of the blue deer hair here. Nice big bunch. Brush it out a small bit, and what we'll do is put a deer hair in. And give it a few taps. What I do here then is any kind of loose bits or bits that aren't matching up, I'll just take out before I take out the tube. Nicely stacked. So what we'll do here then is we'll kind of roughly measure up. Switch back to our left hand, holding it, bring it around. Pinch and loop. A few turns on it. Just pull down. Bring that deer hair all the way around. So what I'll do is I'll just flick that there just to get any loose fibers that didn't get caught. And then what I'll do is work my way forward then. And then what I'll do is I'll brush all this stuff back. Excess deer hair back. Good few wraps around the head just to create a kind of a blocker, just so it stops the deer hair from slipping forward. And what I'll do here is I'll whip finish. And what I like to do here is I'll take the bobbin in this finger here, catch the bottom of it, and then I then have my index finger, my middle finger, and my thumb as a bit of a claw. And I'll pull all that back and then begin whip finishing. Same again. So again, I'm able to hold the bobbin with this finger and then my 2 fingers and thumb, pull all that back. 2, 3. Then I'll just start trimming the deer hair then. Once I have the rough shape, I'll then go in and just neatly trim. That is a Connemara Black Muddler. And that can be fished as either on top of the surface or below it. It worked very well fishing below the surface. A slow figure of 8 on a 3 pull as well worked very well on that day. So I think when I was in Clifton, I had landed 17 and then my boat partner caught I think it was 25. Now we'd lost lots of fish throughout the day, so it was quite a good day's fishing. But yeah, the main taker was that fly. Any questions on that, Patron?
You have
Why
him on the
you-
top then.
Say again. Alan?
Sorry?
Go on, Aaron.
Yeah, there's no tag and not a burnt orange tag. Just for instance, why you didn't use it.
Yeah, you can put an orange tag as well on it, as well as the yellow. But that's I suppose you can moderate or change it 101 different times. I suppose to suit your own fishing.
How do you fish it then?
I'd fish it, so I'd be fishing a team of 3 flies. So I'd have it on the first dropper. You can either do it as a slow figure of 8, or if you can't do the figure of 8 and you're slowly stripping the line, it's a short 3 strip. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Is he on the top of the water then?
Or you can also very quickly strip it through the water.
Is he on the top of the water then?
Pardon me?
Is he on
It
top
can
of
be
the
fish
water?
either or.
All right.
Yeah, you can gink it up. You can, if you throw a load of gink on it, you'll get it on the surface. The day we were fishing it now, they weren't really taking it off flies off the top. It was just slightly below it. So I had to change because I had this ginked up. I had to switch over. And get one just sinking, just so I could just get it taken to the surface.
Is he on a sink tip then, were you?
No, we were fishing dry lines.
Oh, okay.
So it was dry lines, and we'd let them sit for about 10 seconds, and then we start pulling then.
Okay.
Any more questions on that particular pattern, or?
Most are on mute, George. So if you guys want to unmute yourself, ask the question, then remute. I think they're all happy with that.
All happy? Perfect. So my next fly would be one of my own creations. So now normally this would be tied on a size 10 or 12. But for the purpose of the demonstration, I'll tie it on a long hook, just so that way people can see the fly being tied a bit better. And it is my Mayfly Stimulator. That's worked quite well for a number of people. Let's see. So again, I'd fish it on, I'd tie this on a size 10. But just for the purpose of this pattern, I'm tying it on a size 8 bronze long nymph hook, 1710. I'll just grab a few bits first, 2 seconds.
Have you gone?
No, he's just getting some materials.
All right. I see he was using Jessica's scissors.
Nice colour then when they pull.
Now, just quickly change threads, and then we'll be set to go. Has anyone fished stimulators before?
Yes, very successful.
Would that be on the rivers or on the lakes or loch?
Still water, small still water down in Surrey. Very successful.
What sizes would be quite successful?
Well, normally a 12 or a 14.
14, wow.
The 12 was the best one for me.
They're becoming quite popular now, the stimulators.
Oh yeah.
They work an absolute treat. So I'm just going to use primrose thread. Kind of like to use primrose. It's slightly a bit more natural looking compared to like black. And what I'll do here is there's 2 ways you can put in the tail. You can tie the tail. You can either do it as with moose mane, or you can do it with pheasant tail, or you can keep it still traditional and use just deer hair on the tail. Center myself there. So what we'll do is we'll just stick with the deer hair. And what we'll do is we'll take a small enough pinch. This is Vineyard's deer hair now. Free a small patch I got for free. It's actually quite the nicest deer hair I've used so far. For natural. To the hair stacker. And then I'll just see so that if there's any fluff or fibers that don't suit. Isn't.
Are you using it New Zealand style as a top fly or just as a single fly?
How do you mean?
Well, I fished the simulator on rivers using it as the New Zealand where you got a dropper from the end of the hook.
Oh yes. I wouldn't really fish the stimulators on rivers. But I suppose you could do if you wanted to. If I'm on the rivers, I'll use a big sage pattern. Especially when I'm guiding. I have clients that can't see what they're doing, especially people that are new to fly fishing. So I just use it as a marker. I'd rather use that than a bung. And if I am fishing still waters, I'll never use a bung. I'd rather use a sedge fly like that than ever use a bung. I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, we use the simulators quite successful. We got salmon out in the rivers, and that on the top, and then another fly underneath. It's a very good searching pattern.
Yeah, we do that quite a lot on the rivers now. Clink and dink. It's just a very handy setup. Again, and especially if you're guiding, you bring people out, you don't want to kind of overcomplicate the rig. Just keep it more or less simple. I suppose my great mentor Dan O'Neill taught me that.
Don't be always listening to me, George.
Well, I'm going to have to now, seeing as I'm going for the casting
No,
app guy.
that other gentleman that just said there about using the stimulator, I do as well, actually. And I use it and I tie a wet fly sometimes, maybe 8 or 10 inches behind it if I find a fish are shy. And you'll get the trout looking up at the bigger one and they'll actually take the wet fly. I've had them do that before a few times now.
Would that be up in April then, or in the earlier stages of the season now, or?
When I find when the water is a little bit higher, but I've actually had salmon turn on it as well. I was just listening to the other man there, what he was saying about the sea trout and salmon. And it was an American man that put me onto it first because he couldn't actually see the smaller clink. So he had this thing that looked like a pigeon. It was massive. And he tied it on. And behind it, he tied a nymph. Now, you'd see this thing from space. But Jesus, the amount of trout he had a lot more trout than I had. I can guarantee you that. He had plenty of fish, you know.
Different techniques, I suppose. Anyway, any opportunity to catch fish.
The silence said it all there, George.
They're on mute. They're on mute, Dan.
I know. I'm only joking.
Yeah, it does work well, George. It holds up well. You can see it from a distance, you know, and we use it all through the season because it also, a stimulator, is also given the profile of a big sedge.
Yeah.
So it works all the year round.
Yeah, that's what. Those like that big sedge like I showed you there. I just can't bring myself to use a bung. I really can't. No, I'm yet to see if a fish will actually take that. So we'll see later in the season. We've still got more months in the season, so because something on it. Must tie some for Dan to use out.
Yeah, and a few of them snakes as well, George, for the rainbows on the lakes.
Those snakes were the absolute job.
Anthony is here listening to you tying, and he's asking you tying snakes tonight. So
I don't know now. I don't know if the many folk here would want to see me tie a snake.
no.
but they are a great fly to be ripping across the water, though. Myself and Dan had a Irish introduction to fly fishing for women, and after the event, myself, Dan, and his son Anthony went down to the lake and did a bit of fishing, and we were ripping snakes across the water, and the takes were savage. They weren't committing to it, but those that were committing were fairly feisty.
Snakes do well on Clywedog, George.
Pardon me?
Snakes do well on Clywedog. In Wales, the Clywedog.
Oh, would there be any particular color that would work well, or
Pink.
I suppose would it just be the movement?
Pink snake does wonders on Clywedog.
Yeah, I was catching most of the. Well, we were catching most of ours on cat's whisker snakes. Now I had experimented to see with it sinking as well. What I did was with the first hook, I didn't put lead weight on, and the front hook I did, and then on another fly I put lead weight on both flies. And what I think we found was the fly that Dan was using, he was catching more fish because the weight, there was weight on the two hooks, and it was actually sinking down a lot quicker rather than the fly that I was using with the weight at the first hook. Now that's my excuse for not catching as many. So once we have the deer hair tied in, what I like to do here is just tidy it up. So see how we have a bit of a kind of a flailing up. So what I'll do is I'll cut that so it's actually nice and flat. Now, then anything that's caught underneath, just cut out. You can kind of see already there's a big difference in that. So tidy that up a small bit. And let's see. So for the sake of the demonstration, I'd normally use Badger, but because I'm using quite a long hook to explain this fly, I'm just going to use whatever I have available, which is a Claret Metz cape, just so I have the length of the fly. Again, this is a fly I would tie it on size 10, size 12. So what we're going to do is I'm going to palmer it. I like to double palmer. So I'll have two hackles. I find that double hackling just gives you a bit more profile on your fly. It's just, I suppose, down to taste and preference, really. I know you can use a single hackle and it's probably a little bit more efficient, but I like mine with two hackles. It just gives it a little bit more pop in the water, I find. So again, we put in our Badger hackle, tie that in.
You tied it in by the tip?
Yeah, so I tie it in by the tip. And I'll show you why in a second. And we're going to get yellow floss. So this will be our rib. And then we're going to get dubbing. Using the fully milled caddis larva cream, which is this one right here. It's a really, really nice dubbing to use on mayflies. Really, really nice. And it's very easy to dub on as well. What I find with dubbing is sometimes you can just get lucky and find a really, really good dubbing. And often the times I don't stock up enough on it and they've either sold out or it's been discontinued. How's the caddis hatch on the rivers been for everyone?
I don't know about the others, but I haven't had a chance to fish the river yet.
Yeah, it's been an odd year. We've had a few, but only small caddis. But we're even getting the large dark olives, a huge hatch the other night.
I think ours have come in, I think within the last week or two.
But it seems to be a very weird season that everything's out of balance. They're coming at different times and not when you expect it.
Yeah, I suppose the weather's just played a massive factor in that. So what I'm going to do here is with our two hackles, brush the fibers up. And what I'm going to do is, so with each turn, what I'll do is, with my index finger and thumb, is I'll pull the fibers back and pinch them. Pinch the hackles again. That. So that way the hackles actually sit back like that, rather than sometimes if you do hackle it, if you put your hackle at the front, wind down, your hackle sometimes tends to sit up like that, and you want it to just look slightly natural. Couple of turns there, lift up. Tie that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we'll do then is with a floss, just wiggle around, and with the dubbing needle, this is any hackles that get caught, just pick them out. Normally I'd rotate the vice just to see what I'm doing, but because I can't really rotate it, I'm just guessing that everything's falling into place. One, two, and three. So could you understand and see why I wanted to hammer the hackles?
Yeah, it
So
lays back, doesn't it?
Pardon me?
It lays back.
Yeah, it sits back a lot nicer. Rather, if you tied it in at the front here and wound down and tied it in with the wire, most of the time the hackle kind of just sit up just like that. Whereas if you're palmer it, you're folding it, the fibers more or less twice. So twice when you rotate it, when you pinch the hackle, then to wrap it around again. So it just holds back a little bit nicer. Now I don't know whether that makes a heap of difference, but I'd be a devil for detail. So what we'll do here then is for the wing, we'll get a nice big clump of deer hair. Probably one of the best deer hair stackers I've bought recently. A Vineyards one, and I suppose the size of it would matter for how much deer hair you're stacking. So I'd have a smaller one, which I've had for donkeys years, bought off Frankie McPhillip. And I suppose this one's handy for doing your smaller patterns, not smaller flies, but with flies like muddlers where you need a lot of deer hair. You need something a lot bigger and something as well that has a lot of weight in it. If it's too light, you're kind of banging it down too many times, whereas this it's just a couple of taps and it's ready to go. You can see there, it's all nicely stacked. So it's just something to keep in mind if you are looking for a new hair stacker. Something with a bit of weight and something big enough that you can put a lot of deer hair into to stack for muddlers. So I'll just flick any loose fibers out. I just want this wing just slightly in front of the tail. What I'll do here is I'll wax up before. Just a little bit of wax, not too much. What happens if you overwax your thread with the deer hair, you actually can't pull down. It just all locks up. So let's see. So one on top, 2, 3, and what I'll do then is I'll go straight up 90 degrees, and as I pull up, I'll push down on the wing, and then tie in. It's nice and straight. Working my way forward and back. And then cut off all the excess deer hair. suppose the only real way to get good with working with deer hair is to practice. It's one of those materials that does take a lot of patience and trial and error. I think a lot of people are also afraid to even go near deer hair. I think it is a fantastic material to work with. I'll make it look easy enough, but trust me, I've had plenty of times where I've broke the deer hair with the thread. So we'll tie all that in. Nice and neat. What I'm going to do here is get some French partridge. Hammer this hackle. And what we'll do is we'll put in some medium dubbin. Sorry, medium olive dubbin. Tie that in. Nice big kind of lump of dubbin. Because that'll all fatten down when we go to hackle it. Tie in the stock. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just give a light little pull then on it. Access. That's tied in nice. And what we'll do then is we'll whip finish. So just to build up the head and to tie everything else in so we don't build too much ahead. So I'm using the same technique again, where I'm holding the bobbin, that finger, holding it back, and then pulling everything back with index finger, middle finger, and thumb. that then. That is my Mayfly Stimulator.
It's going to float all day long, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of gink now, and it'll definitely float for sure. Any questions on that particular pattern at all, or?
No,
That looks
they're
an
all happy.
amazing pattern. Sorry, Derek. I said it was. That's an amazing pattern. Yes, it will float all day long.
Thank you very much. I got the idea actually from Jackie Mahan. He was fishing a lot of stimulators, and then I thought, well, what if I made a mayfly into a stimulator? And that's what I more or less came up with. Now, again, the claret is just a substitute for badger, just because I don't have a badger cape long enough that actually go down the length of the hook shank. So he'd like a bronze badger or a medium grade badger does fine. But yeah, that's quintessentially my stimulator mayfly.
Like that.
Any further questions at all on that pattern?
It'd be good with a picric dyed partridge feather, wouldn't it, too?
Ooh. I've got some Melvin
Partridge.
rain partridge, yes.
Yeah.
That would look nice now. You got the cogs thinking there now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore, George, that might be top secret.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Might be top secret, Melvin's partridge.
Yeah, I'll have to keep that one close to the to my chest now.
Years ago, I tied a fly like that with Lawrence Finney, but with the picric.
Yeah, I don't know who I was saying that to actually. On it was Sunday, we were just chatting about Pickrick and Lawrence Finney.
Yeah.
And how he very much loved his Pickrick
Yeah, it killed him, poor fucker, didn't it?
flies.
Yeah, I used to go and stay.
Cancer.
I used to go and stay in Moira with tie flies.
Yeah, it was the cancer that got him.
Yeah.
So, have we enough time for one more fly?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Fantastic. So, I'll do a deer hair Wulff. It's probably one of my favorite flies to lock flies to tie. So where is hooks? $14. Well, you haven't guessed already what hook size I'm going to use. I'll tell you again. It'll be 15-30 competition bronze. So, was someone asking a question there?
Is it a size 10?
Size 10, yeah. Obviously, you can tie them in size 12. They work just as well. But obviously, for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm just going to use a size 10, just a little bit bigger to use. So you can see clearly. Switch threads. Speaking of pickrick,
Oh, that's nice.
that is one of Sam McGowan's pickrick dies from Irish Loch.
Because it's funny, Sam and Lawrence used to be competitors, didn't they, years ago?
They were. I think
Yeah.
Sam's gotten back on the competition scene, which is great to see. So a thread I'm using is 8/0. I just need something a little bit heavier with the amount of deer hair I'll be using on this fly. If you thought the stimulator would float fairly well, this one floats like a cork. Tying your thread. We'll just slightly go behind the point of the hook. And we're going to use Corrib olive, deer hair. Take a good pinch. Now, what I'd recommend is, because what you'll end up doing is you'll be cutting a lot of, like I showed you earlier, if it flails up like that, you want to have it sit nice and flat like that, more or less. So you'll be cutting a good bit out. So you can always take away. It's a lot harder to add. And with this deer hair now, I don't actually have to brush it because there's hardly any underbody fur into the deer stacker. See, a few taps like that, and it's already stacked, ready to go. We'll measure it. So we'll just go in between, just behind the eye and just in front of the bend. Now you can go a little bit longer if you want, if you choose to. Again, there are obviously there's a guideline of fly tying, but it's also down to preference as well. So what we'll do here is we'll pinch the deer hair nice and tight, and then do a pinch and loop technique. So once, twice, and just before we set it down, we'll just make sure that the deer hair is sat nice on top. Then what we'll do then is, as we lift up at 90 degrees, we push down on the deer hair. See how it flails up nicely like that. And then what we'll do is we'll tie our way through the deer hair just to make sure it's all locked in. Here it is. Cut all that off.
You got a bit of hoovering up to do when you're finished?
But don't worry, this is the office, so, well, the laundry room as well, so I probably will have to end up hoovering before it gets into all the clean laundry. I'm already in the doghouse for staying too late fishing last Sunday. Told her I'd be home at 7 o'clock, and I arrived home at 10 o'clock that night.
Well, that can't be helped, can it? Once you're fishing, time passes, doesn't it?
I know. Well, I suppose when you got a 6-month-old and she needs a bit of help with them, it's yeah. I probably should have come home at around 7 o'clock, but the fishing was too good. Now I'm partially blaming Dan for that as well.
What time did you say you got home? 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, yeah.
You left the lake at 5.
That's what you think. Trying to get your Anthony off the water, and you.
Oh, is that what you told her? Jesus, thanks, eh?
No, like I said, it was my fault. Now I played devil's advocate now because she said she was wasn't too happy now, and yeah. So I'll keep on the good books now. I'll hoover the house. I get her flowers, but I'm kind of sick of giving her flowers at this point now. Tie it all in, make sure it doesn't move. Nice and tight. Again, we'll just subtract. There we go. So if anyone's tied wolves, you'd often use squirrel tail. I prefer using deer hair. It's just a lot more fun to use.
And it floats better.
It does do, yeah. It doesn't. You don't need as much gink. So what we'll do here is we'll now go to the front of the fly. Just clean that up a small bit. And where we have left a third, so we're leaving that much room there for when we do tie it in, because we'll also be hackling this as well. So we'll be hackling behind the wing and as well as in front of the wing. So we need to leave a nice bit of space at the front. Again, a nice bunch of deer hair. Snap it. That's the tricky bit, because often I'd be doing it dominantly with my left hand. So we're gonna have to take it out with the right. Measure up. Set it on top of the shank, pinch and loop. A little bit longer. Again, push down, pull up, tie in. What I'll do here is a little bit risky, is I'll also wax up the thread. I tend not to really wax the thread when I'm first doing my first few wraps of deer hair, depending on obviously on the fly, on the deer hair. But if I'm doing a lot of deer hair like this, the first couple of wraps I won't, because what happens is that the thread locks up, and when you go to pull up, it won't actually, the thread won't slip down. It just kind of locks into position. Whereas I've just done a couple of wraps there and put wax on and then tie in and make my way through the deer hair, tying it all in. And then what I'll do is I'll bring the thread to the front, sit that there. I'll just cut all the excess off. What I'll do here is I'll do a bit of a wedge at the front. So what that does, it just holds the deer hair wing up. Just like that. And then I'll continue just to tidy this up and tie it all in. Now, there's two options you can do here. You can either do it as a split wing, or you can just leave it as is. I mean, often the time I just leave it as is. There is a bit of faffing around with doing the split wing, but it is easy done. If you were to do it, what I do is either get a pair of scissors or a needle, divide the middle, and then do a figure of 8. So I'll actually do that on this fly here just to show you. That's your split wing. 2 seconds now. I'll just grab the charger to the laptop. Now, so does everyone understand what I did there with the split wing?
Yeah.
Any questions before I move on with that? Or is there anything in particular you just want to kind of nail down?
I think they're all happy, George.
Perfect. with doing either the split wing or just leaving it as is. I mean, if you're doing show off flies, you want to do a split wing. But I mean, for fishing purposes, I mean, I don't think it makes much of a difference. People will argue with you that it does, but I mean, if the fish are hungry, they'll take it one way or another. Thread back to the end. We'll get our floss. There it is. My favorite color, the fluorescent yellow. For some reason, this particular floss does look very well as mayfly bodies ribbing. I think they've discontinued this particular shade. Yeah, I know a friend of mine, Evo Smith, was looking for this particular shade, and they were Simplify were struggling to get hold of it. But it's a very nice shade of yellow. So tie in our rib here. Bit of wax, and then we'll get our dubbing. We'll go with the dark olive. What I will say as well is, even with these type of flies as well, they will eventually come apart like any fly at all. I don't know who I was chatting to on Sunday, but I think people have the expectation, I suppose, those who don't really do a lot of fly fishing, that flies will last forever. But really, when you're on fish, you might get 10 casts, 20 casts, and you got to change flies over. Deer hair, obviously, deer hair is a little bit more fragile. So I suppose it's something just to be always conscious of. Always make sure you have plenty of the one pattern, because if you're on Loch Corrib, say, and they're going for a fly like this, and they are taken very well, then their fly is going to get wrecked very, very quickly, very easily. And then you have to change flies over and catch some more. But it's a great material to use, is the deer hair. For the smaller stuff, like so the elk hair caddises, I'll use roe deer. It's just a little bit finer and a little bit easier to use compared to the Sika hybrid. What we do then is we'll apply our rib. Now, this fly is supposed to look big and bulky. Don't be afraid if you think it's nearly too big. That's the point of this particular pattern, is it's supposed to look big and bulky. So then we'll double hackle. So we get two nice olive hackles. the stalks. Bring your thread to the front. So we'll do maybe 2.5 turns at the back. Hackle pliers. Two. And then we'll do 1 turn, 1.5 the front. With half here, what I'll do is I'll just pull the fibers back, hold it at 45-degree angle, hold it, pinch in the loop, just make sure those hackles are nice and tight. The additional stalks. Same again. We get our whip finish. That is split wing, Corrib olive, deer hair wolf. Any questions on that particular pattern or how to fish it? Or
That looks particularly brilliant.
floats very well, and as well as that, you can do it in a range of colors.
Yes, I would guess you
just-
can.
This box is supposed to be filled with those particular flies, but because when I was lock hopping, I just wasn't carrying a lot of boxes, so I just filled this one full of it. But I have one here that's obviously slightly darker.
Do you have it in claret, do you, George?
Pardon me?
Do it in claret?
Yeah, you can do it in claret. You can do it in a range of colors. I have one that's pretty much like an Adams.
Okay, yeah.
It's just one of those. It's just a real nice kind of versatile fly. If you look at any of the Irish flies that use Wulff, any of the Wulff patterns, you can pretty much apply it to deer hair. So that's this one is a moss. I think it's a moss mayfly, but I've done it. Obviously, applied it to as a deer hair wolf. It's fine. There we go. So nice big wing on it. But yeah, that particular pattern you can interchange any colors, claret, blue, purple, red, quite a versatile kind of color pattern. Any further questions on that particular pattern at all, or?
And you fish it on the top, dragging it through the wave?
Yeah, I suppose depending on the day, if there's a big roll in the wave, obviously fish it nice and slow. If it's a bit of a ripple now, you can move it. I suppose weather conditions all depends really. But yeah, if you want to either use gink or I think the dust, I can't think of the stuff, high and glide, I think it's called. But yeah, it's a great pattern, especially during the mayfly and even at the tail end of the mayfly season. That particular fly will work wonders. From Corrib to Sheelan, Loch Lean, anywhere really in Ireland, and even I'd say Scotland, it would work very, very well. Like I said, more is better with the deer hair. You can take away, you can cut out the deer hair a lot easier. Whereas once you have the deer hair tied in, it's very hard to actually add more deer hair in. So you can cut away. It's just a lot harder to add to it. Let's see now. Is there any other particular pattern or fly you'd like me to cover?
What were you fishing the other weekend?
It was the deer. I'll show you right now. There's the flamingo box. So it was slightly messier version of that muddler. So that one has a bigger head in it now compared to the other one. But it all depends really. You can have smaller, tighter heads, or you can have like larger, messier heads. That one has a double tag on it, so that's got orange and yellow. I don't think the trout really notices as much what sort of tag you have on it. They saw something ripping through the waves and they wanted it.
Because you did pretty well on that, didn't you?
Yeah, so I had three flies on. I had Bumble, my Claret Bumble. I think I showed this fly off the last time around. It's the one with the gold what's it called? Gold butt on it. And then the grade 2 claret on it as well from Irish Loch Flies, and then the blue hen K from Irish Loch as well. So that one, and also as well a Bibio. And to be fair, you can't go wrong with a Bibio. I think every single fly box should be stocked with Bibios. I both my river box and my lock box, I've got Bibios. They are a great fly. And I think I changed fly once. I went from this kind of claret ginger dabbler and I swapped that out with the Bibio. And so that one's double ribbed. So that's got a flat silver tinsel, and it's also got silver wire as well wrapped on it. So just to give it a bit of depth, and ginger cockhackle with claret dubbing, and then bronze mallet then wrapped around. Any further questions at all on Irish Loch flies, patterns, applications to Irish Loch flies at all?
No, that's great. Lovely.
I think you're all happy with that, George?
I think it was very much a masterclass. Thank you very much indeed.
No worries. Thank you all for listening. Again, apologies for the start of it now. Obviously technology can be a bit of a pain in the hole, but I'll just switch over cameras. There we go.
Thank you, George.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks very much indeed, George. Lovely stuff, mate.
Yeah, I hope, again, sure, look, I'm in the WhatsApp group there, so if anyone has any questions at all about the patterns that I did today, or in general, I suppose, just drop us a message. I'm happy enough to answer them. If anyone wants to do any follow-up questions at all. Again, same, if you're planning a trip in Ireland or anything like that, happy to help out. Same with Dan O'Neill, be happy enough to help out with if you are planning a trip to Ireland and you're looking for suggestions on flies, patterns, where to go, we're happy enough to help out with anything like that.
Cheers,
Thank you, George. All right, thanks so much, George.
Thank you, George. That's brilliant, mate.
George.
No worries, guys. An absolute pleasure. Have a wonderful evening and tight lines for the season ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Favour,
Cheers.
George.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take
See
care.
you, everyone. Bye.